USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her infamous 22 number to...
It utterly destroyed any notion that things were improving. Man, this thing just exploded and hit the league like a ton of bricks. A new image appears just as everyone was rejoicing over Caitlin Clark's invitation to the senior training camp. It was meant to be a greeting from Team USA, but the person who fans were hoping to see wasn't there. It felt like a purposeful slap in the face for the most significant player in women's basketball to change the course of the game. A public benching that sparked a huge uproar and infuriated fans. This wasn't only an error. The message was loud and clear, and the authorities were completely silent. It was utterly deafening.
Because we ultimately know she was snubbed from the cover of Team USA. And not only is they snubbing her, the disrespect is continuing because it's looking like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her number. Now, this article has...
And see, this isn't the first time it has occurred. It still hurts to think about that entire Olympic roster fiasco. At that point, despite a huge public outcry, Clark was inexplicably left off the team. Many believed, which now appears quite naive, that USA basketball had truly learned its lesson from that grave error. However, we are witnessing yet another utterly perplexing choice that puts women's sports development on hold once more. Now the pattern is so clear. Instead than viewing Caitlin Clark's enormous popularity as a huge opportunity, they regard it as some sort of issue. It's a major strategic error that is confounding everyone and costing sports a great deal.
Honestly, I'm not a very creative person. I was born on January 22nd, so it's what I went with when I was about 5 years old.
Even the biggest names in sports were calling out that original Olympic snub. We're talking about the head of the 2028 Olympics, a guy whose entire job is to get people around the world engaged, and he publicly said leaving Clark out was a terrible idea. Then you had the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who said the exact same thing. He knew it was a massive missed chance to grow women's basketball in a huge way. These aren't just some casual comments, you know. They're serious criticisms from the very top of the sports world, and they show a massive disconnect in how USA basketball makes its decisions. The message from leadership was crystal clear, but they just completely ignored.
The Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There's no argument to be made. There's no case to be made. Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number for any woman athlete.
Just try to picture how angry NBC must have been, or at the very least, how irritated they ought to have been. The TV ratings would have completely broken records if Clark had been a member of that Olympic team. Given how people watch television these days, we could have been discussing figures that were comparable to those of the fabled Dream Team. Rather, that fantastic chance was simply squandered. All of that potential for great ratings was just left on the table. It was more than just a victory for women's basketball. For the broadcasters, it was a ratings jackpot. A significant cultural and economical opportunity that was purposefully wasted. Millions of dollars and exposure could have been lost as a result of this extremely foolish decision.
To wear number 17 at Team USA training camp on December 24th. News broke that Caitlin Clark will be taking a part in the training, which that's what we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, this right here this came out yesterday. No, this came out on the 24th. So these are the numbers, man. Head on over to Twitter and check this out real quick. So this is what was released right here. It says Lauren Betts. Hold on, here's the ages. Where's the number? Here we go, right here. So these are the numbers. Caitlin Clark. Let me blow this all the way up, man. I want to blow this all the way up so y'all can see this. So as y'all can see there, man, how did Caitlin Clark's number will be changed? So who's wearing 22? Or if you guys remember, Michael Jordan wore number 45 in the Olympics to Caitlin, because it don't look like no one's wearing number 22.
The latest thing that really set the fans off was a post from a well-known sports journalist, Christine Brennan. She pointed out something so simple yet so powerful. If USA basketball truly wanted to promote the sport and bring in New fans, they obviously would have put Caitlin Clark front and center on their promotional graphics. Her critique was simple but devastating, and it went viral. It got over 250,000 views and put USA Basketball in a really defensive spot. It was just this clear, undeniable proof that the public could see right through the organization's weak attempts to engage people, showing a huge difference between what they claim their mission is and what they actually do. I recall seeing that. The image itself told so much. Although it included other really gifted players like Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum, it was clear who was absent. The one athlete who has unquestionably become the face of the entire sport has suddenly vanished. The sentiment was evident on social media. "Who are these players again?" was one of the comments made. Now, denigrating other athletes is not the point of this. It's about genuinely recognizing a worldwide occurrence. USA Basketball appears committed to putting its own internal politics ahead of common sense, as evidenced by its refusal to promote their most well-known and marketable athlete. It's an entirely perplexing tactic that deliberately undermines the objectives they purport to have. They should have anticipated this since, as you can see, the initial Olympic snub had serious repercussions. Women's basketball games were actually boycotted by a large number of supporters. It is indisputable that Clark's exclusion caused the viewership for those tournaments to drastically decline. Online complaints weren't limited to a small number of people. It was a quantifiable collaborative effort from a fervent fan base. It appears that USA Basketball purposefully disregarded the statistics, even though the message was made quite plain at the time. The possibility of alienating even more fans and witnessing a decline in watching numbers is now extremely probable due to this most recent occurrence. It appears like they are adamant about doing the same mistakes again, regardless of the consequences.